get our stuff, but we have to have a specimen. We have to have a body, a cadaver, a living, breathing organism that we can take tissue samples from, blood samples, run its DNA in order, the best you can do now if you find whatever, say, even if you found its finger out in the woods, you don't have the rest of the body attached. So you found something, you run DNA. The very best we can do and be scientifically truthful about it is say hominid, or, as it usually comes back, unknown species.
Yeah.
We're going to actually have to have a live specimen or a dead specimen that is unequivocally agreed by everybody openly and through peer review that this is a hominid species separate from humans, called whatever we want to, whatever we end up calling it, Homo crypticus or whatever. And as callous as that sounds, that's how science works. Think of
yeah, but you're not going to find a live one. You're not going to go and catch one, because that isn't going to happen. How you find a Bigfoot is when you're not looking for one, number one, and you're not going to find it going to like Mount Rainier near a park and find one off a trail. I really don't think so. I was out in the middle of nowhere, pure accident, pure unprepared. I went through so much terror. I still have dreams about it. And I'm telling you, you're not going to go out and look for one with a net and catch it. Now, the only way you're going to go out and get one is, somebody's going to be out there with a rifle, and hopefully at this 800-pound whatever it is, you're going to be able to take it out with a rifle, which I don't think you're going to be able to do, number one, because I remember my uncle almost died being mauled by a bear and was in the hospital for well over a month recovering from it. You're not going to kill it with a rifle unless I don't think so.
Shoot it in the eye.
Yeah, when you're in a situation like that, you're scared shitless.
And if Gary is terrified of a Bigfoot, and we're talking about a Vietnam veteran, yeah, that's saying something.
That's the only time I pissed my pants, other than when I was in first grade. Right? How's that?
I gotta wonder. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to prove its existence. It's going to take one that's gotten high on mushrooms or something. Some kind of weird accident is going to happen where some over-the-road trucker coming down through a mountain pass squashes one, or it's going to be an accidental capture or an accidental killing, because let's face it, this thing is the world's reigning hide and seek champion.
Well, I want to say one more thing, and I'll shut my mouth. Okay, Art Bell had a guy on his show, a Vietnam veteran, okay, that claimed him and his buddies killed one. Now, I have talked to Art Bell about that before he passed. Numerous times we talked about it. He actually had a map. He was going to go do it, but because of his bad back, he couldn't do it. But he totally believed the guy, because the guy gave him a lot more information off the air than what was said on the air. But it was in a situation where they were out there poaching animals, and they ran into a Bigfoot and its mate. And they took him out. But it took a lot of firepower to do it. I do believe that story was true because Art totally believed it. The stuff that Art told me, which I'm not going to relate, I really think that's, and I could see their point, okay? They were scared, okay, to go to the authorities because they were scared they could be charged with murder. Because I'll be honest with you, Bigfoot doesn't look like an ape. It doesn't look like a chimpanzee, but it doesn't look like a human either. I can tell you that.
Kind of like Harvey Pratt's witness drawings, his forensic drawings, it's not a monkey face. It's a humanoid. I
prehistoric. It's a prehistoric. Prehistoric face. That's what I remember when I saw that. That's when I realized it wasn't a bear when I saw it. Okay, and when it saw us and screamed, that's what scared me. Okay, it was like a prehistoric face with basically better, more refined body than any ape could ever be, but definitely like an 800-pound huge creature. And I can tell you again, when it ran between 2 legs and 4 legs. Okay, it ran for a while on 2 legs, dropped down, back up, down, up.
Using it for speed, then.
I have no idea. I was running.
Like. Right.
Well, look at how, if you look at chimpanzees when they form a hunting party, which is sort of like a weird behavior that they've only recently been exploring and studying, a group of apes led by the dominant chimp, they will find somebody, say another chimp from another tribal or family group enters their territory. They will hunt that thing down and beat it to death, kill it with their bare hands, and then distribute the meat around. And they will hump along at, sometimes they're hanging from branch. You watch this behavior, and they go from leaps and bounds to bipedal to, a combination of any way you can imagine using 4 limbs to move.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that where you would see that kind of behavior with a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. They're not going to be thinking, I'm chasing. It's going to be pure, what were you think in your case? Was it just you were in its territory and it was going to make an example? Did you think of it being any kind of conscious thought, or just like being chased by a bear or a mountain lion or any other wild animal?
I can tell you how maybe you might understand what the situation, okay? When we went up to that old internment camp, there was a creek there, and on the other side of the creek, there was a abandoned mine and equipment still there from World War II. Okay, my friend, the doctor, says, look at that huge bear. Now, we were out there taking pictures. Now, I was so scared I didn't even take a picture. I had a 2.8 millimeter f-stop lens. I think it was 300 millimeter. And he had a wide angle, and he was taking wide angle shots. I took my huge, and it's a huge lens. And I swung it around to look at this bear, and I was going to take a picture. But about the same time I swung that lens around with the camera, it spotted me. And it screamed the loudest scream I ever seen. Now, I probably startled it as much as it startled me. But I tell you, I know from what I've been through that if we wouldn't have took off running, if we would have stood our ground, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because I think it would have offed us. I think it was that aggressive. Okay, you didn't have to explain to your wife why her brand new car had a caved in front fender. Okay, that's also happened at the very end. So every bit of this thing was aggressive.
But aggressive, like, say, an angry human?
Aggressive enough where it would have killed it.
Aggressive, I think it would have territorial, just a regular animal.
I think it was like a regular
animal.
I think it would have killed us. Okay, I think it probably didn't even know what we were, and I think we were in its territory, and it didn't want us in its territory. And I think that's what it was going to do, is protect its territory. And if that meant killing us, that's what it would have done.
So I would go with territory animal.
I don't know any more other than that. I like I said, that's the scariest I've ever been in my life. And I only started talking about this about a year ago. And in fact, I actually even got a hold of my friend here a couple of weeks ago who has a medical practice in Puyallup. His father was a Superior Court judge in Pierce County. His brother is a criminal attorney in Pierce County. And he was really terrified that if we even talked about it when we got back, he would lose his practice because he just got done doing his internship. His family gave him the funds to, open up his medical practice. But all I can say is the thing didn't show any compassion. It didn't give me any orbs. I don't think it was telepathically talking to me. I think, seriously, that it just wanted us out of its territory. And if we didn't go, then we would be, whatever would have happened.
It sensed you as other and a threat.
Yeah.
Or do you, now just playing devil's advocate, was it possibly intelligent enough to realize you had a camera?
No, because I think what happened is the situation, the light reflected off the lens, and that's how it's seen it. Or it heard us because also it was backed up by the equipment, by the old closed up mine there at the internment camp. And when it screamed, it echoed like you wouldn't believe. I mean, if you think Ron Moorhead has good audio, this would have blown anything away. Now, I will say this. We got so scared. We drove about 15, 16, 20 miles away from there. We found a little store. We went in there. The owner of the store knew that we were really shook up. And we told him we saw a Bigfoot. And he goes, he didn't know we were Americans. And he said, well, you got bear spray, a gun or anything? I go, no, we can't bring a gun in the country. And he says, being out there is crazy because a week before that, a woman and her husband were out hiking. The woman got hurt. The husband went back to get help. The time they got back there, there was not much left of her because of the bears. Or a Bigfoot.
Are you sure it was a bear?
I said, or a Bigfoot.
Right.
Well, a lot of the Native American, there's a lot of the Native American cultures or their stories are, these things eat people.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. So, it's not unheard of. There's actually a oral tradition that was passed down somewhere on the plains. So I'm a little shaky on where it was. But because there was a family of Bigfoot who kept raiding this tribe and, taking their old and their babies or their children and eating them, that the tribe finally cornered them in their cave and burned them to death in their cave because they wouldn't quit eating the tribe's members.
Well, you know what? I heard pretty much the same thing with the Muckleshoot Indian tribe back, a year, 2 years ago. I talked to the medicine woman about Bigfoot, and she told me similar things that, the tribe, we're going back in the 1870s, 1860s, or whatever. The tribe would be out there, and the women would be out at the river, washing and doing whatever they would do. They'd have their babies down there, and all of a sudden a group of Bigfoot would come running through and snatch either, some of the women or a woman or the babies. And then, naturally the warriors would go out, trying to find them, and what they found was remains.
Right. And that's one reason I don't ever go on the mountain without a weapon. And it's not for Bigfoot, but it's for bears, for cougar, it's for whatever I need to defend myself against.
Well, if I ever gone back out, if I could, but with my bad leg, I can't, I'd have an M16 with hollow points.
I agree. Or Markham's AR-15.
That too.
Yeah. Markham would have his 45 with hollow points in it.
All right.
I don't think a 45 would stop one. Not right away.
It would take a couple times. You have to unload all 13 rounds. Joe Markham, what is your first question for the night?
Oh, man, I've had so much fun participating. Everybody else's, I forgot mine. Okay, no. All right. something that always bothers me about science fiction. One, everybody we encounter speaks English.